Hello everyone and welcome to the live snake show here at Pacific Science Center. Today we're doing things a little bit differently. I'm Maureen with our education department and I am here today with Rachel. Rachel, what is your job here at the Science Center?
Hey everyone, I am the Animal Care Coordinator here at Pacific Science Center, and I have our special guest here, Bri the Corn Snake.
Excellent. So Bri is a corn snake. So let's imagine, everyone, if we invited all the snakes, one of each species of snake, here to the Science Center, how many snakes do you think we would have in front of us?
Like 1,000?
A little bit more than 1,000. What do you think at home? Oh, I think I heard a number pretty close to it. I heard someone say about 3,000 different kinds of snakes. And those are the ones that we know exist. So scientists, they classify all sorts of different things. So putting them into different categories and how alike they are. So how might we classify snakes? Think about that. I heard somebody say color. So that's right, snakes have all sorts of different colors. Bri is a kind of lightish pink kind of color, but we have lots of bright colored snakes, orange and red, so maybe color is a way to classify them. What else? I think I heard somebody say poisonous, like the ones that you eat for dinner and the ones that you can't eat for dinner. So poisonous, we often think about poisonous. Poisonous means that when we eat something, it's going to make us really sick. But snakes, we don't really eat snakes, and they're not poisonous. Most snakes, when you think about poisonous, you're actually thinking about venomous. And so when we eat something and it makes us sick, that's poisonous. When something bites into another animal, that's venomous. So some snakes are venomous. So we can categorize snakes as venomous or non-venomous. So 150 of those 3,000 kinds of snakes are venomous.
It's not very many.
It's not very many. Are you hanging out with a venomous snake today?
I am not hanging out with a venomous snake.
That is right. We certainly want to make sure that we're being careful with our snake, which is why you can see that Rachel is wearing gloves and our green smocks, which we wear when we take care of the animals. And that is because we have germs and the animals have germs, and we want to make sure that we're not getting the animals sick and that the animals aren't getting us sick. So snakes have what we call salmonella. You might have heard of the germ salmonella. If you eat things with salmonella, like uncooked chicken, you would get really sick. And so we don't want Bri to get you sick, right, Rachel?
Right.
Bri is not a venomous snake, but he is a constrictor. So as we think about snakes, what observations are we making with our snake? What's Bri doing today, Rachel?
Well, I've noticed that he keeps flicking out his tongue.
He keeps flicking out his tongue. Very interesting. So snakes do have a nose, but what do snakes use their tongue for the most? Do you know? I think I heard somebody say to smell. So snakes use the organs on their tongue to smell, and they put it up against an organ they have at the back of their mouth called the Jacobson's organ. And that is what lets them smell. Very interesting. All right, what else do you notice about our snake today?
Well, you know what I have noticed is he has not blinked once since we have started talking.
He hasn't blinked. That's crazy. So our snakes, the corn snake, it doesn't look like corn. How does the corn snake get its name? Do you know? Where might the corn snake live? I think I heard someone say, in a cornfield.
That makes sense.
So if you're going through a cornfield, I would think that you would want to blink. Because blinking, that's how we keep things out of our eyes. So if corn snakes don't blink, does that mean they just get a lot of things in their eyes?
I hope not.
I hope not too. Interestingly, just like me, corn snakes have something called spectacles. And spectacles are clear scales that they have that cover their eyes. So just like we have eyelids that help us to blink and keep things out of our eyes, corn snakes have a clear scale, so we can't see it. So Bri might actually be blinking or using that scale to cover his eyes, but we just can't see it. One other way that scientists classify snakes is how long they are. So Bri, how long is Bri?
He's about 6 feet long.
About 6 feet long. So if Bri is 6 feet long, how long is the longest snake? Let's see. This were the tail. Oh my goodness, it's still going. I don't know about you, but I don't really want to be around a 33-foot reticulated python. That is the longest snake we've ever recorded. That is one really big snake.
It's way bigger than you, Bri. That's for sure.
Absolutely. So Bri is wrapping himself all around you. Any reason, any idea why that might be?
Well, I think when he wraps around my arm like he is right now, it's for stability. Obviously, snakes don't have any sort of arms, so how they keep hold of themselves is to wrap around things. He's not really wrapping around me like he's trying to constrict me right now. It's about as much as a really light handshake.
Very interesting. So snakes are also cold-blooded. So I eat to keep myself warm. I also eat to make my brain work really well, to be able to move around a lot, and to be able to grow. But snakes don't do that. Snakes are cold-blooded. So not only does Bri get some stability from your arm right now, but also some of that warmth from your body. So snakes, since they're cold-blooded, they don't eat to keep warm, but they do eat so that they can grow and move. And so they get warmth from sunlight, or in Bri's case, from the light in their cage, and from human body heat when we're holding them.
That's why he tries to hide in my armpits or my pocket, or try to get in my shirt or around my hair. He's seeking out warmer spots that he might be able to settle into and collect my body heat from.
So if Bri doesn't eat to keep warm like we have to, does he have to eat as much as we do?
He does not have to eat as much as we do. Does anyone know how often Bri eats? Let's think about it. Because I eat 3 times a day.
Does he eat once a day?
Oh, way less than that.
Once every 3 days?
Even less than that.
Once a month?
Okay, a little bit more than that.
How about once a week?
Once a week. Bri only eats once a week.
Great. And what do snakes eat? Do snakes eat other animals, or do they eat plants?
Well, I've never seen Bri eat a plant. Bri loves his mice. Bri eats a mouse once a week.
Yeah, all snakes are carnivores, so they eat other animals, or eggs from animals, or fish, bugs, mice, rats, things like that. So we know Bri is not venomous, but does Bri still bite all of his prey?
He does. Bri bites it, and that's so he can grab a hold of it, and then he wraps himself all the way around, and he constricts.
Excellent. So you were talking about constricting on your arm before. So that means that right now Bri is just kind of loosely wrapped around your arm for stability. But if he were going to constrict you, he'd wrap himself really tight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so wrapping himself around his prey until he doesn't hear a heartbeat or feel until he doesn't feel a heartbeat. Because does Bri hear?
I don't think Bri hears.
So snakes don't have ears, but they do feel vibrations. So as they're slithering around on the ground, they can feel vibrations as opposed to like we hear using our ears, hear those sound waves hitting our eardrums. Very interesting. Well, I think Bri looks pretty hungry. I think because we're doing a special recording of our live snake show today, we are gonna give you all a little treat. And same with Bri. So let's see what happens when we feed Bri today.
So before we feed him, I am going to put him back in his cage. All of our snakes eat in their enclosure, and that is important for them because we don't want to move him after he eats because he'll be digesting his food. So Bri is going to go back in his cage, and then we'll feed him.
Trying to wrap around it, but he's on top of that thing. So he's going to use the tube to help him constrict it. Now he's decided it's dead, so he's going to try and maneuver its face into his mouth.
That rat looks bigger than Bri's head. How does he fit it in there?
So he can actually take apart his jaw. It might be a little hard to see on the camera with the angle that he's at, but the lower part of his jaw, right on the bottom part below his nose, can come apart. And he'll actually take his jaw apart and start using the different sides to push the mouse back into his mouth.
So when we think about our jaw hinging at the back, kind of as we open it up, that's not where his jaw hinges.
No.
It's like if my chin at the bottom part of my jaw opened up to the right and to the left, right?
Yes.
Interesting. I always imagined it kind of right where our jaw opens, but it's completely different.
View of it right here. You can see the pieces of his jaw moving. He's got the head in his mouth. So they actually have teeth on the sides of their mouth, and instead of biting and chewing the way we do, they use those teeth to kind of pull the mouse in. So he's almost walking the two sides of his mouth to get the teeth to get the mouse inside.
That is fascinating. Although Bri is used to being handled, most snakes in the wild aren't. And even animals that aren't yours, you really should make sure that you're being really careful, that you're not touching snakes in the wild. And as you go up to any animal you don't know, even dogs and cats, you're asking for them to kind of smell you before you touch them or ask their owner. But certainly you don't want to touch snakes in the wild, especially because, like we said, we don't want to get the snake sick with our germs, and we don't want the snake to get us sick with salmonella or other germs. All right, thank you everyone for joining us, and come back and visit soon.